Hello again, Super Deformed lovers. Today we have a model kit of the Gundam Unicorn 02 Banshee, both in Destroy mode and Banshee Norn mode. This is one of the earlier ones I'm thinking because it comes with the Super Deformed frame, the short frame, and also the Cross Silhouette frame where you can actually add pieces and, well, it just has moving elbows and kneecaps, whereas the SD frame doesn't. So it's going to be taller. Yeah, here's some renditions. So all this is on the SD frame. You can look, see how short it is. Then you can see the CS, longer legs, longer arms. More mobility, basically. Okay, let's see what else. This is kit number 19 in the Cross Silhouette series, I imagine there. Is there a date? 2023. I'm going to guess this must be a reissue. I could be wrong. Some other robots in this series. Oh, I'm going to have to try to get one of these. And that might be too big for me to collect. I mean, it's pretty huge compared to this one. Alright. So in particular, I'm interested in looking at these. Well, these are clear pieces. These seem okay. It's the gold pieces, if I'm going to have to repaint those. Let's take a look at these things. Have any tools when I need them. I don't know why they just can't have the bags, tearaway bags. Some Gundam kits have tearaway bags, and clearly today they do not. These stickers, by the way, they're paper, they're tear, they don't work very well other than on flat surfaces, so I'll probably use the eyes, but I'll skip the rest. Alright, so as you can see here, you have these transparent pieces, which are fine. I'll leave those alone. But these gold wavy ones, see, oh boy, you can see all these ripples or strange wavy artifacts from the molding process. And that's not really particular to Bandai. It's just that metallic plastics seem to always have this weirdness to them. So there's a good chance I might paint those gold myself. Okay, I thought you might want to know. So here's the Cross Silhouette frame. It has more parts, and it actually has an extra head for a GM. Interesting. And then you'll see less parts for just the regular SD frame. Now some parts broke off. That's a chest piece. Leg piece. Alright. What is this? Alright, some sort of builder's cup info, but that's long past probably. And then we have the instructions. So again, you can see the height difference there. They're the runners you want to check. And if you can just look up numbers and arrows, you can put this together. You don't need any glue. You don't need any anything. But I would recommend side cutters, otherwise you're going to have some tear marks on the pieces. Maybe that's not a GM head, is it? No, it definitely is. There's no way that's the Banshee head. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward this video, and we'll see at the end, and I'll talk about which way I go. I think I'm gonna go with the SD frame this time around. But you will notice here, there's different weapons here, right? With the SD, you have a shield and the gun and beam sabers, but if you go Cross Silhouette, you're meant to put on a crazier set of antennae, and then you have this claw arm thing, which maybe I'll still put up. We'll see what happens. Alright, we'll see you later. So I'm back and I decided to leave it apart so we can see the articulation a little bit better and also any details that I did building it. So the first part we'll go over is the shoulders here. These shoulder joints have a long peg, so you can have them squished up against the torso, but you don't get much movement. If you pull it out that much, then you get a lot more, obviously, right? This being the SD frame, you don't have an elbow joint. You just have a ball peg here going right to the wrist, which has a ball peg on it. So the armor collides quite a bit. You barely get any front movement or back movement. In and out's pretty good there, but yeah, it's an SD frame. So the neck does articulate, but only backwards, okay? And in this case, the polycap ball wants to stay up in the head piece. And this frame you only have, or this model kit, you only have this space here. You don't have a second piece to put the stickers on. So if you do want the stickers, they're literally going to cover this thing up. But I know those stickers are going to peel up because you can see these cut lines. So that means it's designed to go around three-dimensional surfaces, but it's going to peel off. So I only use these two stickers in the centers. Alright, so I added some paint and decals if you haven't picked up on it. Here's some silver. But the red here is the raw plastic, and I lucked out that you don't have any of the swirliness in it. So, alright, so that goes on here. And then the head here, I did have to glue a bunch of parts. This was very wobbly, so I glued the gray piece holding this gold antenna array down. This is a tight fit here. There's that sticker right there, and the other sticker is on the back. This was a bit gappy, so I added some glue on the inside surface. Yeah, you can see some of it seeping through right there. I tried to cover up some of it with some decals. You'll notice there's a little square peg there, and that's to go on top of that head. Alright, so if you pop that on, you're not going to be able to look down because the neck doesn't pivot forward, it only pivots backwards. So the back movement's pretty good, but obviously it looks a little bit goofy there. And then you'd have to pull the peg up a little bit to get any sort of side to side, but I'm not even going to bother. Okay. This was very loose also, and so I ended up gluing this piece onto that lighter gray piece. It doesn't really want to touch the blue body, so be mindful of that. Alright, so what's next? The backpack here. There's some detail here without the backpack, so that's why I left it off. And the backpack is all hollowed out. And here the beam saber pieces, they're slightly different, darker blue. And then I did add some silver paint there. Okay. Most of the hollowness you're not going to see, you know, because the torso is in the way. Okay. So the lower hip joint here, this is definitely going to be problematic. This slides into this clear yellowish orange piece, and that slides into this blue piece. So I ended up gluing the gray to the blue, as you can see some glue marks there. So hopefully if this thing comes apart, you know, from here, it'll stay together. But basically when I was doing this, a lot of the pieces are falling apart, trying to pull this ball peg out. Alright, so now you can see there's a little bit of front and back movement for that. Side to side's alright as well. And I guess it's okay. I mean, this is the SD frame again, so. Alright, now this is the big design flaw of all these cross silhouettes. These cups just aren't very deep, and or they don't have a lip around the edge to trap the balls of the legs. So here's the leg piece, there's that ball, and it just sits in there and it falls out very easily. It's very annoying actually. The foot detail here, it does rock forward and back, pretty good amount, in and out, I mean left and right, rocker's okay. And then this little armor piece is actually on a ball peg on one side. So that hides that big gappiness, all that gappiness there. So that's a pretty cool design there. Alright, but I just don't like how this interface works. I feel like they should redesign the frame. I mean, they do a better job on all their other model kits. Okay, so now, again, being ST, you got the leg running into this skirt here. That skirt does pivot up a little bit, which I guess is okay, but it's, it's still, yeah, it doesn't really go back much. It's colliding there. The only thing it really does well is, you know, pivot in and out. Right, so that's the way the SD frame is. I did put together the cross silhouette frame, so you can see, right, there's a big difference. It would be more like an extra head's height difference if you swapped all these body parts over to that, which you can do, but I'm not going to bother. Okay, oh, see, again, the worst feature of these cross silhouettes, that thing just doesn't stay in that cup. It's just not a, it's a poor design. It needs, the cup needs to have a lip on the edge to trap this ball. Oh well, okay, so that's basically the robot without any extra armor, and it actually looks pretty good as it is. I think it's pretty good. Here's the gun, some decals on there. This is a separate piece, obviously, but it's not even, doesn't need to be glued in. This does have a little bit of a lip or something on that U, and that kind of grabs the barrel. So that's not bad. Okay. But again, with the SD frame, there's no elbow joint, so you're gonna have to literally flip the whole arm upwards in order for it to be in a shooting position. Okay. I didn't even bother painting the beam sabers because I'm not gonna display it with them, because this has the cool weapons for the arms. So let me show you those now. All right, the first one, we have the claw. I forget, there are some sort of nails, armor nails or something. So you see this peg here. Actually, you know what, before I do that, let me show you the shield. The basic shield like this, and obviously it has a peg hole, so you can put that on either arm. And I guess that's the basic, almost like a unicorn. But I'm not going to display it like that either, because they have these, this thing. So you can see the hole that's going to line up over that peg. And now, you know, you'll even, the hand's still there, which is kind of nice, but you got this four-armed claw thing. Yeah, the inside is hollowed out, you know, it's not a master grade kit. But there's ball pegs here, so you can actually have these claws in like that, touching each other, or spread out that much. The bottom one, same thing, you can spread them out, or, they can't touch because the hand is in the way. But it's nice, right? You can pose that RoboClaw pretty easily. Alright, so that's good. It's actually quite huge. Right? It's actually almost touching the ground. Alright, the other side you have this crazy beam weapon of some sort. And I didn't even see these stickers in here. See this yellow? These three pieces are on a sticker sheet. I didn't even see that, so I painted it all gold inside here. But you don't need to paint these three areas with gold. But it did come out nice here inside, all the gold paint that I put in there. So again, it has the peg hole here, and we have a peg on this arm. And again, the hand doesn't need to be taken off. Here's the folded up position. See? So that covers up the forearm. And so you can still hold the gun, and this is in storage mode. But it's neat that you can just flip this thing forward, and then the hand gets hidden. So that's really well designed. That's cool. Right, and then there's a little extra thick, clear, metallic, I think it's clear plastic with gold foil on the back side. I think that's neat. Alright, so actually, you know, maybe I will keep that folded up because I do like this gun because it has 2 colors. So now that's maxing out there. So unfortunately, there's no extension for this peg. I can't put the shield on here. That would have been cool if they actually thought about that. But they basically have this peg hole here, and you have this extra piece that you can put in, and this will become a place for that shield to go. So you can just put the basic shield on, but that's pretty lame looking, right? So the shield actually has extra bits you can add to it. So the bottom part here, basically I glued these 2 pieces together also, knowing that I'm going to take this apart sometimes. So these 2 little tabs go into these 2 round openings. And you can see this, whoop, you can see where they are now. Some minor details molded in here. And then the top of the shield, this one I didn't glue because the pegs are so tight. Alright, so then that's going to go, you see this, there's 3 tabs here, and they fit in. In particular, you want to go with this rectangular tab going into the opening of the shield. The other 2 just kind of rest around the side. They don't really peg into anything, it seems. But it's pretty rigid. It's not loose, so yeah, you don't need to really glue them together. Although I did glue this to that as well, because knowing I'm going to pull it on and off the robot. Alright, so now that will go on here. Now you got a crazy shield. Although, I guess looking at it from the front, it's not so great. You know, you can see all that detail there. You can obviously store it upside down like that. Alright. I'll leave that off for now, because you have these 2 extra bits. These are just 2 pieces pressed together, no glue. There's a lot of pegs holding this together. So this little opening here just slides over those beam saber handles. And so you just slide this over. And the other one, just slide this over. I see that beam weapon was getting in the way. So now you can see, right, it's got this crazy like fan array. I haven't seen the cartoon with these robots in it, so I don't know what the significance of that is. Maybe they collect solar energy or something. And then, yeah, you can put this over. So from the back side is quite a big assembly of stuff. Yeah, from the front, maybe this isn't so good. Yeah, that looks a little bit weird, so I think I'll just display it like that. It's less visible. Alright, so that's it in its maxed out mode. Right? And again, it could be taller, it could have articulation in the elbows here. Let's quickly go over the cross silhouette frame. So the cross silhouette frame, you have these joints that can slide in and out like that, right? Here's the elbow joint, right? So that's an extra point of articulation. The knee joint, and then the top of the hip also rotates. But see again, these cups just are poorly designed. They don't really trap the ball, so it's a real shame. Both of the frames are just poorly designed. They could do a better job. All right, and then I don't know. I didn't even bother painting this because this body looks nothing like a GM's body. So I'm at a loss as to why they included that in there. Maybe this thing killed a lot of GMs. The one extra piece is also this. It never fits anything. These are always basically useless in every cross silhouette model kit I've bought. Unfortunately, well, let me see if I can get the ball peg out. I don't even think I can show this because this thing is so tightly in that orange piece. So I can't really show it pivoting, but there, if you wanted to, that's what a GM head looks like on a Banshee body. Oh, look at this. So this is a ball peg here, this front skirt, so that's why I didn't glue it. Alright, so pop that head back on. I will say I do like these transparent pieces. There's no need to paint underneath them either, or on the inside surface. They just look nice. Obviously they're not the same color as the gold or the plastic before I painted those gold, but they're cool. You know, you can see the light bouncing through them, so I like that. So you're not, you're simply not going to get much articulation. So I managed to make it back home before, well, I'm adding this at the end because I can actually show off a couple more robots to compare this to. And here's a little Gundam stand. I drilled out the bottom here because that hole is way too short, I think, to fit a peg into. But it's a 3mm hole, and now that it's drilled out, it feels more secure inside of a Gundam stand. Alright, so that works out. And then I have this little trifecta stand here of some other robots. Here we have the SD Zaku in clear. We have an SD... you know what? I don't know. No, this is an ST frame of the clear RX-78. And then this is the Cross Silhouette frame. So you can kind of see how much taller it is compared to that one, right? Same mold, just different frame and color. So, alright. So even with the SD frame on this thing, it's quite huge, you know, with all these crazy things, antennas and whatnot. It's very similar in height to an actual Cross Silhouette framed RX-78. Alright, so you can watch, I have builds on all those if you're really interested in searching the channel. Let me get a spinning toaster out here. Let this thing spin one last time in flying mode. Now let's get it into a more dynamic pose. See if we can do that on the stand. Yeah, it's not so easy with such a deformed SD frame. And I apologize for that cable hanging out there. Okay, so standard Cross Silhouette stuff, standard gripes in the hips, but otherwise it's you know, it's what it is. They're not overly expensive model kits, so I think they're worth a go, especially if you've never built a Gundam model kit. You know, this is nowhere remotely close to the complexity of, like, say, a perfect grade, obviously, but even like a master grade they can get pretty complex, and probably real grades as well, which I still have to make one of those. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next Gundam video. Bye.